Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar, I'm Jed Morgan, and the time of contempt is nearly upon us with the release of Witcher Blood Origin in just a few days now. And as I've said in several previous videos, it is the time for Witcher marketing as well, as every day is stuffed full of new interviews, new pieces of information revealed about this show and the future of the main Witcher show as well. And we've always got some doozies out of these because it seems like these people are completely insane and out of touch with reality and with the audience that they're trying to entice. I had one commenter recently say it's as if the Witcher writers all collectively took a shit in their pants, changed their shirt, and said, hey, now we're clean. And I just couldn't describe it better than that myself. So cheers to you, mate. But we have a new interview from Lauren Hissrich with a Polish gazette, and it's had to be transcribed back into English. And she says some interesting things, specifically about the author of the books, Andrzej Sapkowski. This article comes to us from StartFacts. It's here because they're the main ones who translated it from the Polish, at least that I'm aware of, and they've got quite a bit of sass, so I am here for it. The headline reads, The Witcher showrunner cluelessly teases another spin-off. No one cares. And yeah, again, I cannot describe it better myself because absolutely nobody cares about these planned spin-offs. The Witcher universe is rightly dead without Henry Cavill, and it wouldn't have survived much longer even with his inclusion because of how abysmally they've adapted the source material and just how poor quality the show is in general. Those two factors combined created a disaster that nobody was interested in, and Henry Cavill leaving was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And this interview is quite interesting because, as I said previously, this is an interview for a Polish gazette, and so she specifically talks a lot about the author who is Polish. And some of it is pretty gold. Some of it is just like him saying, oh yeah, it's not my book, so I don't care. You're not telling my story, so I don't care. And I don't know Andre that well from interviews or anything like that. I haven't heard him in interviews very much, and this is Lauren's secondhand information about him. So this could all be fake coming from him as well. Who knows if he actually said these things, but it feels a little sassy to me for him to be like, yeah, it's not my story. So do whatever you guys want. The ship has sailed. That might not have been his intention. I don't know how the man interacts with fans, interacts with the Netflix crew at all. Don't know anything about that, but that feels pretty sassy. But in this big interview with Lauren Hissrich in Polish, I specifically want to talk about these last two comments she made, saying, Andre, if he didn't describe something himself, he let us build our own stories. And that's an interesting thing because he did absolutely describe stuff in the books and about the lore and history that they're contradicting. So she's like, oh yeah, if they didn't describe it in the books, we have free reign. Well, you already taken free reign for what he did describe. So yeah, we kind of expected you to take free reign with what he didn't describe. It's kind of how that works, mate. If he didn't describe it, there's nothing there to adapt. So yeah, you can do whatever you want in those gray areas or those completely void areas. But this isn't surprising anyone. She's acting like she's keeping to the source material, got his seal of approval. And it's obviously, yeah, if there's nothing there, make something up. That's clear. I mean, they're not of any talent in the Witcher's writer's room, so whatever they come up with is going to be abysmally horrific in general. But this is the attitude they're taking with the actual source material as well, with the stuff that he actually did talk about. So no one's surprised by this. But moving on, continues, there are so many interesting threads in the books that we wanted to show and develop. Yeah, it's called the books. If you actually wanted to develop those story threads, you're adapting a television show off of it. You have the opportunity to do so. So don't act like you care about the books and the story threads in there when you've completely ignored every single storyline, plot, and character from the source material entirely. So yeah, this is just cheap virtue signaling. It's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of stories from the books we want to adapt, but we couldn't get around to it. It's like, no, that's what the whole show is supposed to be about. If you wanted to include something from the books, you had the opportunity, but you chose to adapt near zero from the books for season 2 specifically. So what's the big shock here? You're terrible at your job, and now you're trying to virtue signal. Nothing surprising there. But she continues, but we already lack time for them in the series. Whatever. There's time. You didn't adapt anything, so if you had stuff you wanted to adapt, you had plenty of time because you made up everything in that show. But the article itself says, Hissrich proposed the idea of shooting prequel spin-offs or sequels to fill the gaps between seasons of the show. Yep, that's absolutely what they're doing, giving fans something to look forward to during the breaks. She suggested that these could be used to tell stories that couldn't fit into the main series, but her boss was hesitant. Rightfully so, and apparently the boss said, let's perhaps check first if anyone will watch the show, and that's probably a very good call. And you can't tell if someone is going to watch a show just from a single season. I think the success of season 1 was a bit of fool's gold, as we've seen with the subsequent additions to the Witcher universe, and it was far too early to greenlight a Witcher animated prequel show for the next year after the success of Witcher season 1. And it's way too early to include a Michelle Yeoh prequel as well. They couldn't even get 2 seasons out before they crumbled in the main show. 2 prequels, it's not time for that. You're not ready for that. You wait until you're very established, and they never even got a chance to be established, so the boss was right. And she keeps teasing more and more that there's going to be a spin-off in between each season. We kind of already knew that, the rats being the next upcoming one between seasons 3 and 4. But that's the thing. Nobody cares. Just like this headline says, this universe is dead. This showrunner is so out of touch with reality that she thinks she's being cool with her comments about, oh, season 3 is going to be the most accurate of all of them. Yeah, well, when you've been 0.01% accurate in season 2, 1%, it seems like a lot to you, doesn't it? It seems it's a big improvement on your part, but it's still nothing to actually speak of in the grand total scale of things. And that's just where her head is at. And she thinks Andrei Sapkowski is putting a seal of approval on the garbage that she puts out. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But I read a little bit too much into his comments, perhaps. She's just not the right person for this job. She's not talented. She is just way over her head. She may not be a bad person, but she is not right for this role in this universe. And the universe is crumbling as a result of that. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Anon.
Hey, yo, are you feeling what I'm doing up in here? Oh, I know you are. Do you miss all the good, compelling stories that we used to get back in Hollywood that they ain't putting down no more? Oh, I know you missing it. So check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues, baby. Book 1, Down in Flames. Book 2, Apocalypse Then. These are currently on sale. What are you waiting for? Get your hands on them. And we got Book 3, Kill the Dark, is coming down the pipeline. Just wait for all the good stuff that's dropping. You ain't gonna be disappointed, fam.